relation from one lecturer to one student. Third, to promote the symposium, the organizing universities must use their network to invite as many other universities and also professionals working in the field of information. Fourth, the symposium, that's very important. The symposium has to be organized by at least 2 universities, of which one is hosting the symposium. The students involved in the organization must give as much as possibility to visit the foregoing symposium to give them enough impressions for their own preparations. The adding advantage of this point is that we have a guarantee that a lot of students of 4 universities are participating. Fifth, to give extra motivation for students in joining the BOBCATSSS organization group, the involved students must give enough credit points for the course. The best solution is that within the study curriculum, the organization of BOBCATSSS is an important part of the management course. 6. As long as there will be big differences regarding economic circumstances between Western and Eastern European countries, the symposium has to take place in one of the Eastern European countries. Because of that, the university in the West has to cooperate with the university in the East. Note, students and staff of Eastern European countries have therefore more possibilities to participate because of less travel and accreditation costs. 7. The symposium has to be held on a low budget level. The symposium fee, especially for students and actually also for young professionals, must be as low as possible. This applies also for the cost of hotel accommodation selected by the organization committee. 8. One of the most important principles of the symposium is to create an atmosphere by which participants, again especially students, get enough opportunity to be in touch with each other. Note, for this reason organizing universities are asked that social and cultural activities will be an important part of the program. Think about the reception, the cultural evening and parties, and not to forget the presence of what are always called BOBCATSSS. 9. The theme of the symposium must be in line with actual developments in the field of information science. It will be chosen by the 2 universities involved. It is also up to them which criteria will be maintained for selection of papers. Note, presentation of papers, especially those for workshop sent in by students, is to prefer. The last one, universities who want to organize a symposium must propose this in time, at least 2 or 3 years in advance. Those who already had a partner university are more or less certain that they might do the job. Agreed was at that time, when we signed the letter of intent, that Amsterdam together with Budapest would organize the symposium for the first 5 years. The most important reason for that was to get BOBCATSSS on the rails. And you know, the BOBCATSSS name was chosen not only because it is a nice acronym of the founding universities, but it is also the name of a wildcat living in the northern European countries, very well known for its aggressive character. We choose this name because of the image of the librarian. And to tell you a story, the older ones know that in the 60s or the 70s there was a famous poster. Especially I saw that poster for the first time in the underground of London with a beautiful girl on this poster. Long blonde hair, nicely dressed. And on the poster was said, "I used to be a librarian before I discovered Smirnoff." You know what Smirnoff is? So that says something about the image. We want to get rid of that image. And that's the reason why we want to be aggressive. Yeah? The results up till now. The symposium in Parma is, as everybody knows, the 18th time that the symposium has been organized. I never had thought in 1993 that Bobcats would exist that long. Of course I, and not only me, but also the other founders of Bobcats hoped it would be. Due to the fact that Amsterdam did organize the first 5 symposia, by which a certain continuum was assured, and also because of the enthusiasm of the participating universities, especially those who take several times the initiative to organize the symposium, and I mentioned Stuttgart, Oslo and Copenhagen, the Bobcats Symposium became well known not only in Europe, but all over the world. And especially for what they always call the New World. New World is a name for wine. Yes. So Australia, America and New Zealand. Well, in opinion of Europeans, this is the New World. Yeah. We are the old ones. One other guarantee for the survival of Bobcats was that Euclid was willing, after I think about 10 years of Bobcats organizing, to prepare to adopt the symposium. When I formally left the Hogeschool School of Amsterdam, because of my work for the European Union, we got more or less the assurance that there was an official organization like Euclid, whose responsibility was to realize each year again that 2 universities in cooperation with each other would do the job. Bobcats in itself was, to tell you the truth, an informal organization, without any real authority. So we were glad that Euclid took the formal responsibility. There was, however, one very important condition on our side, namely that Euclid would maintain the original principles of Bobcats, and I mentioned these 10 principles. Where did all symposia took place? In alphabetical order, we can mention the following cities: Bratislava, Budapest for 7 times, Krakow, Porto, Portoros, Prague, Riga, Tallinn, Turin, Vilnius, and Zadar, and now of course Parma. I dare to say that all the symposia were more or less a success. Of course, sometimes the symposium was more successful than some other ones because of a better organization or due to a better contents program, workshops, good lectures and keynote speeches, or perhaps because of a very good social program. Note, one of the very important conditions for a successful symposium was and is the fact of the 2 universities involved to cooperate